Here we go, Ronnie. The bronze medal game. It'll be the state under-18 team versus the Spartans. And the Spartans were very low on numbers yesterday. They're low on numbers again today. Big Boyd Heather, I can't see him. And Ruben Carlson is, he's Boyd up. Yeah, he is out there.
He's out there, but he's only got one shoe on, Joey.
It's Ruben. No, Boydo's got two. Ruben Carlson, I don't think he's going to be playing in this one.
No, I've seen him on the bench there with one shoe, JB.
And Timothy Clark is the, hello. Yes. What is Scotty up to? Oh, I do have your keys. I do.
No.
Correct, I do have your keys. I forgot to bring them up to you. I'll grab them for you here, Scotty. Ronnie, if you can
we'll keep going here through Eli French and now Luke Brown.
I remember that.
Mind you, Lockie Brewer down low. There's all sorts of commotion. Oh, jeez. Meanwhile, as we come down the floor, here's Matty Smith as we're just adjusting everything here now. Again, sorry about the camera angle, folks. Boyd Heather, now McCarthy. In term to Cooper Hills. Shot clock at 3. McCarthy needs to get it up and does. Can't get that to go. JB working overtime here. Ball up the floor through Brewer. Now Boucher, who's backing up. That's Callum Boucher. Sorry, not Lockie Boucher. And turnover. Matty Smith with the ball as we come down the floor here. McCarthy goes solo. Can't get that to go as well too. We'll give Glenn a microphone and we'll turn him up as well. And now Haywood, in-turn Brown. Good pass in the Brewer and we'll finish that one off nicely.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I borrowed Scotty Wade's keys earlier. Forgot to give them back and we've just found them, so we've given them to him. Glenn, you've jumped in to the commentary box and I'm glad you were there to watch your team win by 40.
Well, yeah.
Just lift the mic up a little bit.
We're getting to know the players. It was really good. It's a positive game, and really, we only lost to the Tassie team by 3 or 4. And it's probably because of fitness that we actually got beaten because our older blokes got a bit tired. So it wasn't. I didn't see the first game, so but I thought the last 2 games were all right.
Boucher banks that one. Boucher banks that one in for the state team. They've started 4 zip here. Glenn, you were in. Sorry, Ronnie. I'll quickly refer to Glenn.
Yeah,
we were here yesterday in a very similar situation. Unfortunately for the Spartans, only 6 on the bench going up against a state team that ran them ragged. Could we be looking at a similar result?
Oh, not if Boyd Heather does that.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
But I just think the legs, if the Tassie team may eventually get the better of Glenorchy. But if Jack Stamix gets on fire, it could be a different thing. But he's going to have to throw his 30 or 40 at least.
No look pass there to McCarthy, who steps up, slips on the shot. Can't that to convert. Ronnie, you are pretty familiar with all of these boys in the state team. I mean, they're going away to nationals in a month. This will be a good little warm-up. They're a mix between their own youth here in competition and certainly some bigger bodies. However, you would have to assume they're a little disappointed with only playing off for essentially the bronze here.
Yeah, the state team has very, I'd assume Nate Burton would have had the expectation of trying to get these boys through to the grand final, and just to a degree disappointing to see them in the bronze medal playoff game. But really for the state team, it's more about how they can prepare for a month's time when they do go away for nationals and how they can all work together. This is a pretty solid core group that's been around together for a while now. So this is just about fine-tuning and for Coach Nate Burton, more about what he can get out of all these guys. The lineup they got out here at the moment with Haywood, Boucher, French, Brewer and Brown, a pretty good lineup out there. So it'd be interesting to see how they all kind of work together here and try to, really get a run on here in this first quarter.
Actually, they are a good crew, but they've got a lot of talent on the bench as well. So
they do.
I'm sure as the national titles tournament goes along, Brereton will have to utilise from number 1 to number 10, and there's a lot of evenness. So I think everyone's got their older players we talked about in that last game, but here they really want to put some pressure on and get out of this last 2 games, this last game, whatever they can. Especially,
French has slipped on the table, and that's a finish there by Stanwicks and Nate Burton. He's going to try and utilise those timeouts, 1 per quarter. Brendan Stanwicks with a wry smile. This is one of the first times his team's looked consistently good over the last 24 hours. However, Nate Brereton is going to want to get in there and break things down. 6:11 gone in the first, and
Jack Stamix, it's pretty clear there that he's a bit worn out for the weekend, because that probably would have been a nice dunk.
yes,
It could have been a wham bam jam.
it could have been a one-handed wham bam jam. Thank you, ma'am. No paid promotions there.
But I don't think he wanted to. I think he wanted to make sure it got in and conserve some energy. So this Glenorchy team, they've still got a lot of experience in there, as well as some youth that actually played quite well earlier today in Cooper Hill and
Lockie McCarthy.
I'm not sure if and young McCarthy. So if Jack Stamix gets on fire and the Tasmanian team don't, they need to put more pressure on, way more pressure on, and rotate. Brereton's obviously not happy with a few things, and it's last time I think it was 21-4 by about now. So
yeah, it become a become a layup line essentially, Ronnie. I mean, you'll see how the Spartans are playing at the moment, how they're low on numbers. Their general team is not out. If you are Coach Brendan Stanwicks going up against a young and energised state team wanting to prove themselves, what are you looking to do as a coach?
Defensively, I'm making sure we try to read what they do. This state team runs a lot of flow action off that motion offense, so we really want to make sure we get our rules in place. So that's number one. Then number two, from an offensive perspective, we want, as Riley Haywood...
no, that's...
Barley...
Hordle, is it?
More... I'll get it in a minute, but as Lockie McCarthy knocks it down, we want to see... from a Glenorchy perspective, offensively execute like they just did down at in the floor. So it's more from the defensive end, because we know
Wasteful.
offensively they can get running.
Wasted pass there by Brown. Stanwicks now on the far side. Is he back in his traditional 23? No, he's in his 43. McCarthy back-to-back threes. Bang! And they are looking nice, Glenn.
And it is good to see. I think that Glenorchy's worked out the Tasmania's offense now. So as yet they haven't got any easy backdoor.
Easy shot there by...
cuts. Roby should have shot that.
Yes, easy shot there for both him and Brewer. Not used. Brown inside, uses that length. Dropped down. That pass wasn't necessary. Gave the ball up. And, a couple of easy shots given up there by BTAS. Glenorchy with the ball. We're halfway through this first quarter. The benefit of the running clock. We are ticking along nicely. Big Boyd Heather.
And Boyd Heather stepped up, hasn't he? Like, really? We saw... if he can shoot, he hadn't had many shots in the first couple of games, so he's already popped a couple in now.
I think that's going to be the key too. They're now playing against a shooting team. That would have been a foul, but well played on. French for three, can't get that done. Roby fighting for the rebound, and there's McCarthy out again. He's had a good start, wanted to stop, pop and lock, couldn't. Gives to Hills, in turn to Stanwicks, back to McCarthy. 3 in a row, no good. That'll be a long one out of bounds. As we do.
What I liked about that one,
Marley Bourne.
What I liked about that player there was that, it doesn't matter what player that Glenorchy have. If they're hot, they get them the ball. Like Stanwicks could have shot, but young McCarthy just hit 2 shots in a row, so it goes to him. That's what you like to see.
As a coach, Ronnie, I assume you're again the same principle. If you've got a guy who's running hot, don't necessarily go away from a good thing unless you need to.
That's right. I keep feeding Lockie McCarthy where possible, because
good block there, good defence by Stanwicks.
He's a good up-and-coming player as well too. He's made the reserves for the state team.
Oh, good. Phoenix Roby out of the clouds. Lovely block.
Beautiful
against
work
his own
there.
side.
Yes. Roby's he's quite a good defensive player. I don't think people realise how good of a defensive player he has become. So
that
extra, he can jump too.
That extra length. Boyd Heather throws a pump fake. Everyone knows he wasn't going for that. He's got his own offensive read. Big Boydo, the resurgence. And how soon he'll be going for a sub, we'll work that out.
He'll want a sub soon.
Just using that big frame and that big body, JB.
And if you want a sub in under 2 minutes, phone 90210. And if you want one in over 2.5 minutes, 8675309.
Again, a non-paid promotion.
Thank you very much. As Brewer knocks that was our voting lines yesterday.
And that was a good offence there, where the Tasmanian team were able to get a backdoor play. That was the first one for the game so far. So
good pass there.
And that's what they'll be looking for too, Glenn. A little bit of
nice shot. Bang!
But if this guy can keep shooting the lights out, then look out.
He can play. It's almost a reversal of last night, Glenn.
And look at this back door again here. Like, Tassie really rely on that back door, and exactly right. Like,
Savage is open. They don't use him. He wanted it previously. Pass down to Bourne. Roby, they're fighting amongst one another, and the Spartans have come out with a different energy here.
They have.
They're limited on rotations. I don't think we'll see Ruben Carlson, who's got a sore leg. And time out there by Stanwicks to get a bit of a rest into his players.
Maynard, is that his name?
Maynard, yeah, Lockie Maynard.
I like the energy he brings in, so that's a good thing to get him in. But 21-8, Glenorchy probably didn't care about losing the game by 40 or 50 yesterday to the same team, because they probably saved themselves knowing they were going to make the final.
Been able to scout them, essentially.
Yeah, but it's really good and really pleasing to see young McCarthy hitting some open shots and getting fed by his teammates.
And of course, just to add on that too, Glenn, he's been working hard on that 3-point game now for the last couple of years. I mean, when we spoke with Nick Martin last year, when we talked in the TJBL South Conference Grand Finals, that was one of the things Nick pointed out, that his 3-ball is starting to develop, and now we're seeing some of those results paying off for him, which is really good. And this very quickly too, I think, Glenn, it looks like Glenorchy in a little bit of a zone down here. It's like a packed zone, what they're trying to run.
And I think, yesterday the Tasmanian team got so many backdoor plays, the same offence they ran, and so I think now Glenorchy's realised, like, they've got a couple of experienced players down the back in Heather and Maddie Smith, that they know that, we can't let them score those points, otherwise we're going to get flogged. But I think there's going to be a lot more pressure now from the Tasmanian team, and they should be trapping. They should be doing whatever they can.
Absolutely. I'm just having a look out on the Tassie bench there. Eli French just drawing some things up on the whiteboard too. Good leadership shown by him and taking that step up as one of the senior players on the team.
I did notice there, Ronnie, that absolutely none of them, though, were actually looking at Eli. They were looking at the game.
Let's hope they were listening somehow.
So I hope they were listening, because some of the just reading some of the body language there, obviously Eli is wanting to take that leadership role, but I think they've come out with a stun mullet look, these BTAS boys, because they're looking a little discombobulated.
Look at it's good that he was talking to the boys then, because their heads are down. That's
my point. They didn't seem to be.
They really are down. So I don't know what he said to them, and Nathan Brereton's, he's a bit sort of thinking, what's happened? We've destroyed these guys yesterday. Just go back to the basics of what we've been training for the last 6 months. And
Maddie Smith saves that one to Big Boydo. 3 from 3, Big Boydo.
That's a lot of
Moors. Had that one loaded up from deep as McCarthy hits the deck.
I was going to say.
Savage just randying him right there.
My word.
That'd be a reference you'd get, Glenn, wouldn't it? Very good. WrestleMania 3 alive and well. As the Spartan spot for that one, Cooper Hills comes up with that. He had a very good hustling role in that game prior. Stanwicks for 3, no good. Shots been off in these last couple of games, but certainly hasn't stopped him from trying to have a go. Maynard now loses that. Bit of soccer being played. Cooper Hills has saved that, though. He's given that to Stanwicks. He's trying to get up the floor. 2-on-5 situation. He's going to wait for his teammates to come through.
That's a good play.
But he's taking on a man that defends him in practice all the time. And Roby gets the better of that battle. And that'll be a reaching foul on Stanwicks. Good effort from Roby and the state team to get back on D and negate that offence.
It was. And, again, it doesn't help sometimes when you've got one of your teammates on the other team there and can read you like a book.
It matches up pretty well. They spend a lot of time against each other. As we've got 7 seconds left, so hopefully Tassie's got a really good play.
3 seconds. Maynard needs energy. Forced baseline. That's too long a pass, though. Savage can't bail him out. So quarter time.
Not well executed at all, especially, that could be the game-winning play. So I think Nathan Brereton will want that to be tightened up, that play at the end of every quarter.
Quarter time, we'll take a quick break. 21-8 in favour of the Spartans. Okay, let's keep the frivolity down to a minimum and see how we go. Maddie Smith getting absolutely
good play.
Boosted here on the commentary. So we're back from the quarter time break. It is 8-21 and the Spartans lead. McCarthy was big, no good there. Even Ronnie's got the old hand signals up. See, but waving a damn microphone. That's block. A big drive. A big
massive block there from McCarthy.
Microphone, Glenn.
Oh, too low, sorry.
Good boy. So Tassie going to reset here, and I mean, Ronnie? You know the state program better than either of us. What would be the directive and messages from the coaching staff there regarding that first quarter effort? As Boydo throws a touchdown.
Oh, and touchdown it was. And that's a great finish from Stanwicks as well.
And they won't be happy with that because defensive transition there was pretty poor.
Oh, yeah.
And
you don't want to get a fast break opportunity from a baseline pass.
Just can't have that happen. And I think if I'm in Nate's shoes, I'd be addressing a few little things that we can do better from the defensive end, and we got to get a hand up on McCarthy, who's been hot from downtown in that first quarter.
Indeed.
So they've got to change up their defense a little bit here. It looks like they're in a 2-1-2 zone there by the looks of it, or just a matchup zone there. But
Cooper Hills with a slow fade away, misses that. Roby over the back, and Savage nearly double handles that one, gets away with it.
But this, just to quickly finish off, from an offensive perspective, get through our sets, do what we do well, and convert.
Boucher inside, he gets powered, he will go to the line. And Glenn, we saw yesterday, Cow towards the end of the day was a very sore and ginger individual. He had some issues with injury last season, so I think that'd be another thing from the coaching staff that they will want to be managing Cow, because he is arguably the best athlete on that team.
Yeah, he did some really good things yesterday, but yeah, as you said, he sort of crept in a few little niggles, and it's not worth putting that at risk.
That's right. With a month out before they get to travel, you certainly want him there, because he'll be a big loss if he does go down.
And he's the tallest of a... Oh, good job by McCarthy. But he's the tallest of a Tasmanian team that's not overly tall, so they need Callum's height and experience.
Kai Savage, that's
Nice
deep,
shot.
that's good. And hopefully that starts a bit of a run here. That's a 9-point deficit now. And again, though, you've still got to be looking from a coaching perspective that, we've got to try and outscore this team here to give us a chance. Boucher, good strip there by McCarthy. Good second recover there from Boucher. But I think that's one thing that Brennan Stanwicks won't be too impressed with, boys, is the fact that, they get that strip, but unfortunately there's no one there chasing hard enough on the defensive recovery to save the second chance points.
It's got to be those 5 players that got to give effort. It can't be one. It's got to be 5 of them. So that's what Bull's probably looking for, as Lockie Brewer gets the 2.
And that's the same thing again. You just see him sort of shrug his head that, again, they got the play they wanted but couldn't get the exact result they needed.
Good coverage by the Tassie side there defensively, the trap in the corner. Now they'll get back into what they're doing here, along with the Spartans trying to get something happening here.
Stanwicks with a strange hesitation on the perimeter,
Nice.
gets the basket to fall.
Good shot.
And that was pretty good defense from young Lockie
Brewer.
But Stanwicks.
Kai Savage for the response. Chases his own shot, gets the follow, goes up, misses that. And that's a good recovery there. Spartans not giving up more offensive rebounds, which again, Glenn, something they had in their first game today, getting plenty of offensive rebounds, but not hustling enough themselves to convert. Matty Smith trying to extend that back out himself.
And this is the quarter where you'll start seeing the fatigue for the Glenorchy side. Boyd Heather's still over there drinking his bottle of water, and really, he put a big effort in, so he's in no rush to get back on the court.
Good defence there, Matty Smith. He's been
3-on-2.
And they've slowed down a little bit too much. They're going to have to go into McCarthy, pass. No, wasn't expecting it, had that open lane. Stanwicks from the car park. No good round the rim. McCarthy gets the rebound, goes to go inside. Step back hesitation, misses. Rebound by Savage. And BTAS will go the other way. So a margin of 18-26. The Tassie boys just want to get another set. They've capitalised a couple of times here, and he's looking to get back into the game here. Meanwhile, Cooper Hills, he's just going to use that off arm, and that'll be an offensive foul for the Fun.
Very good call.
Yeah.
It does that too many times, and you see that a lot with the younger generation. Ronnie, you probably sometimes find it a task to occasionally coach it out of them. Substitutions coming in.
Are we going for 5 subs?
Yeah, I reckon. No, Boucher staying
3?
in. Boucher staying in. And so is Savage. So 3. That'll be
3.
Anise Brown and Haywood coming in. But how do you go, Ronnie, as a coach? You see a lot of players do that, use their off arm as protection. They do extend it the way everything's called today. How do you coach that out of a player?
We just got to learn to drop that arm. Or just keep it there and be steady with it. As you have it as some protection. As
Haywood.
Matty
Smith.
Matty Smith just winding back the clock.
Oh, he's happy with himself.
He loves it too.
I think he wants to call for a sub now.
Yeah.
And Big Boydo said, mate, I can't do that anymore.
He's back playing safety.
Stanwicks.
Good move.
That's a wonderful move, and there's the timeout as
Yep.
expected. So 18-28 once again. Some good defence from the veterans, some great offence from the young guns. And halfway through this second quarter, it's a 10-point margin once again. Spartans with a lead.
We got Colson. It's Colson, isn't it?
Yeah,
remember
Reuben
he hurt
Carlson.
his knee.
Reuben Carlson.
Reuben hurt it. Was his ankle or his knee
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully it's not too.
Yeah,
Too bad.
he's not into the game. There's no
Oh,
doubt
no,
about
he's not
that.
going to be playing.
As Mark Nash, Supercoach, goes through. No tactful substitutions in the final, please, Mark.
You've heard it here first.
Oh, no. He nearly got thrown onto the court by the opposition coach yesterday for that. But
Good Lord.
yes, Ruben Carlson's still out, Glenn, with that injury. He has one shoe off. I don't know whether he's got that back on, though, but no, he's still standing there in the socks. So that will be him done. But Matty Smith, boys, winding the clock back.
He certainly is. I mean, he's still got it for the ripe old age of, I'm not sure how old he is, but
Him and Glenn sat next to the
39.
39.
Late
I think I was
30s?
at under 20 nationals within about 2000, I think it was, or 2001.
Jesus, you'd have been
There you go.
You'd have been in your early 60s back
I
then,
wasn't
wouldn't you?
playing then.
Yeah.
I was clearly on the
On the
one of
down,
the
on the
officials.
slide, was he?
Yeah.
Finally on the slide.
on the bench.
Finally
with
on the slide.
Part of the coaching staff.
Jesus.
But, so that was 2000, I think it was. So
But just to quickly go to Matty Smith, he's certainly
Fit as a
showing he's a valuable asset to this team as a veteran.
Well, as
absolutely.
we mentioned too, I mean that's the matter that Glenn, you'll be able to touch on this as McCarthy goes inside.
Yeah, good finish, young lad.
It's that balance the
Great
leagues.
finish.
It's that balance the league's looking at. Matty Smith's been a tremendous asset at state league over the last couple of years for Glenorchy.
he has. He had
Yeah.
a good career in the NWBU. He's a state player, but he's not. He's really good at football as well. So I wouldn't want to tell him, but he's
Kai
very
Savage, you
talented
just
all-round-
did. You'll go back and
all-round
listen to this.
sportsman.
Kai Savage makes
Or
that.
was.
But I mean, Glenn, this is what we were talking about earlier. Having that balance of senior leadership, junior leadership, and junior development in the cams is going to make this league strong moving forward.
Yeah, it is. And I think this weekend we'll talk about Glenorchy or Phoenix with the senior players out. I think that the clubs and the coaching staff will appreciate just how beneficial running all these young blokes is going to be for the season ahead.
Stanwick's no good front iron. Cooper Hills keeps that off arm to himself, nearly
Good
loses
job.
the ball. Gets it out to Smith, 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. McCarthy, baseline, gets the step.
Oh,
No
beautiful.
look. Tim Clark gets fouled. He'll go to the line, and there is plenty of energy about this Glenorchy side.
Lockie McCarthy's making things happen. Not only are you trying to stay with him on the drive, but then all of a sudden he sucks you in and then he gets a few of those passes off and he's starting to create some plays, which is really good to see him develop as a guard as well too,
And they
Glenn.
have to defend him.
Yeah.
His shooting's been really good today. But, he creates for others. And I've only heard good, positive
Yeah,
things about
same.
him. I didn't really know him. I played against his dad many, many moons ago, who coaches as well, I believe. Danny does. But I've heard a lot of good things about his son, Lockie, and it's good to see him out in the seniors doing his thing.
31-21 our score line. We're inside 4 minutes here. And I'm assuming, can we remember what quarter this is?
We're in the second, aren't we?
Second or
Second
third?
quarter.
Yep,
Second quarter.
We got that confused yesterday, Ronnie. I thought the game was wrapped
good
up. But
boards
still had
there
10
from
minutes.
Cal Boucher.
That one's going to be
Looked
on
like there was a foul.
Yeah, it was a foul. It was called.
Yeah.
Was on the
And-
floor. He wants to go to the line.
I reckon he'll go to the line. I think he
No, they
convinced the
waved
ref.
it. Well, I don't know if you
I
can
think he's
convince it.
convinced him,
I was going to say,
He
Yeah,
did.
he convinced
He
him.
talked him into it. Unbelievable.
but I think that was fair.
Yeah, smart call. He was going up for the shot. It was
The
originally waved
refereeing,
on the
Ronnie, you
floor.
went here yesterday. The refereeing's been fantastic. Like, even for me to coach, they were just.
Non-paid,
really good.
non-paid promotion.
I
Thank
had
you very
I
much.
had one referee, and the first call of the game it wasn't a back call. The ref called it. I said, I don't know about that, and they said, look, first game of the year. I haven't ref for a while. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is a great attitude.
That's good to see.
Oh, it was awesome.
Really
Like-
good to see. Good up the floor pressure here too by the state side. They've got to just lift the ante here a little bit.
Yeah, what are we going to try and see here in the next few minutes? I mean, it's the third, stage 3 of the second quarter. Stanwicks is starting to really find his way offensively. Boucher, that was a slip of the knee. I hope he's okay there. Settled himself down. But
He should be right.
I mean, what are the stateside looking here in their final phase of this quarter, essentially, Ronnie? You break it down into 3 parts, every 3.5 minutes, essentially, of a quarter. What are they going to be looking for execution-wise here? That's come off the leg of Boucher.
Yeah, they should look to stay up the floor here. They'll be in their kind of their little press here and try to put some pressure. Again, good read.
No,
Yeah.
terrible defence
he
there.
hit the backboard.
now,
Does
is
that
that a
count?
goaltend?
That was a goaltend.
I think that might be a
I think it
goaltend.
was meant to be.
But, poor old.
But Aaron was still on the baseline.
I just don't think Boydo had the energy to coach it. I think if Boydo had been 5 years younger, he might have appealed for that,
That's a shot. Nice shot.
Haywood.
Now, they should stay up here. Good shot
Way
by
up.
Haywood. But again, they need to organise themselves better. So
they've
that's
got down the
poor
floor.
communication.
McCarthy, flat as a tack. Boydo with the offensive rebound. Is he going to know? Look, he does.
Oh, beautiful.
McCarthy, ow!
Yes, sir.
Old
I'm
school.
not sure if that was supposed to go to McCarthy or the next cutter.
Well, I'm not sure.
But,
I don't even
it was
know whether Boydo meant a pass or he was just tired and dropped the ball, but it worked.
No, it was great work by the Spartans. Now, Kai Savage doesn't mind a shot.
He's enjoyed a couple of them.
And I think
Boydo with a veteran box out there, grabbing the back of the shirt. No one saw that.
I think the Tassie team, if they can get it back to 5 by half, they've done pretty well.
Yeah,
Glenorchy have certainly controlled the game.
now out to 8 points. Good skip past McCarthy. Back in the hands of Smith. A lot of work there for Anise. Doesn't
Nice
mind
shot.
a shot, Matty Smith.
Oh,
The footballer he is. He was roving off the pack. Couldn't get it done. Boucher now out to Haywood. One of Penguin sharpshooters. Haywood by name, Haywood by nature. Skip past to Boucher. He lit it up from here last year.
nice.
There he
Nice.
is.
Yeah, they've got to get a bit of confidence up. Their bench needs to be a bit more up and about too. Just to
Yeah,
get some
just so
speed,
silent,
some
I was gonna
energy.
say.
Yeah, like that's a great shot by Callum Boucher, but
But
also too, that's, you know, no, that wasn't back court.
Nearly.
It would have been
Boyd.
a foul otherwise. For
So-
pushing him over, I reckon.
We've got it back to 5 here. And yeah, this is again another interesting set. Yeah, good call by Nate. He just wants these boys to slow down and run a set here.
5 points is our margin. And as we mentioned, the energy needs to be there. And East wants to get in. He does.
Screen by Luke Brown.
Oh,
That's
there's
it.
that back door. And that has been deflected. I thought that was deflected by the Spartans.
Oh, it looked like there was a deflection there, JB, because, yeah, I felt like it come off a Glenorchy hand. But again, that's a good play that they try to run. Again, get them on the back door, cut, nearly paid off. But again, it's this energy. I mean, they're 5 down at the moment. They've got to get a stop here.
Boydo now with the ball. He's trying to bring some energy, whether he realises it or not. He's taking the chest to Brown and one.
It counts.
Good big play from Boyd, Heather.
I tell you what, he's going to be thankful. I reckon he's thankful that went in, because otherwise he'd probably go down and sit where Bouch had been sitting for the last 2.5 days. And
I'm not sure what this is, JB, but is this something new that we're seeing from Bordeaux putting it to the floor? This is rare.
there's no other people taller than him in his team. So normally he has Callum Barker or Nick Barker. And
Adrian
he's got all the
Peach,
other boys
Liam
with him.
Smith.
He's the man. He's
So
the man in the
Bordeaux's
middle.
stepping up, which is really great to see from Bordeaux. Still got it.
Still got it, but as we mentioned yesterday, the athleticism generally wouldn't have him jumping over the Queenie phone book, and they haven't printed that since about 2008.
Correct.
So as he goes to work with that, Brown loses
another
the handle.
turnover as well.
Will it be? It will.
There's a mark from Matty
Big
Smith.
mark. He's put that down.
2-on-1,
Here we go.
2-on-1, fake. Good job.
good.
Oh, and a foul.
Contact and one.
Great job. Great teamwork.
My God, the Spartans are on fire here, and they're potentially going to make this a 9-point ball game. Well, they have made it a 10-point ball game.
And what a great mark by Matthew Smith.
I know.
Loved it. Mark of the century.
Hang on, yeah, you're on right. 30 seconds. You'd be suspended. Turn his mic down. Stuff him.
This will be the interesting part now for the state under-18 side. How do they fight back off this run? Can they weather the storm and make a run their own going into the third quarter?
Here's Savage. 3.
Good teamwork.
Missed that one. And that is it. Matty Smith, just for a bit of fun, he's missed that one. We'll just take a quick break here. Half-time, 10-point lead. It is the Spartans leading the state team 38-28.
Start the third quarter, and state team down by 10 at the moment. They've got to work their way back in as Bourne goes for 3 and gets it to go.
That's a good way to start. I'm just going to have the...
It is. I haven't noticed him to be an outside shooter. He normally takes it inside. So it's good to see he's got another part to his game that the Tassie team can utilise.
We'll see what Big Boydo can do now.
Tight down Stanwicks.
As McCarthy gets inside, good first step, floater.
Nice.
Oh.
Defender come across late, but reasonably clean. Matty Smith's going to have a shot from outside 50 here. Line him up and put him through the big stick, son. He slows that down. Boydo's open. He's not afraid to get a shot up. Don't give him space. Oh, the handles drop it.
It's
Look
not.
good, though.
It was old school Boydo.
Oh, it's nice to see, I think, too, JB, and that would have been nice if he knocked that down too.
Absolute throwback there. So we've got a 3 from Haywood. He doesn't mind a shot. He's missed that one, though. And McCarthy's away. There's a lot of chase down coming here.
Good play.
But
Great
that's a
layup.
good finish.
That is very good control by Lockie McCarthy as well too. Just over Luke Brown too, who's not the easiest defender to get a shot over, by the way.
No, absolutely. There he goes up there. And that's one thing I've noticed just as Brown knocks that one in.
It's just good that young blokes aren't getting intimidated by others. Like, the worst case is you're going to get blocked. But he's certainly having a good old crack,
McCarthy
isn't he?
again. Coming out of the clouds.
He's having a great game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'd have to be nearly the best player for the Spartans here, I would say.
Absolutely. He's certainly, stepping up. Sometimes we talk too much about, Jack Stanwicks being that main player. I think Lockie McCarthy's just thrown himself in there to say, hey, jump on the back of me, lads, and we'll go.
Yeah, don't forget about him. There's Stanwicks on cue, as we mentioned. Gets inside out to McCarthy again. Blows by the defender. Running hook shot. My God, he's the Arsenal. Look at it. It's unbelievable.
I think Lockie McCarthy.
Mate, I haven't seen that since 1980s.
Well,
running skyhook.
That's not a Kareem. That's a Neil Johnston 1950s.
And here he goes.
Here he goes again. He's got to take him on.
Cross him up. I actually think he tried to dribble over the top of French there. It didn't quite work, but. One thing I just wanted to touch on there, Ronnie, you'll notice how well drilled this state team is.
Yes.
I've seen plenty of opportunities. That's that backdoor play. It's Haywood, and he's getting hit on the arms. That'll be on the floor.
Yep.
That a lot of times these state team players in the state team have had open looks that they haven't capitalised on through simple fact of a lack of communication, or they've got an open baseline that they don't take. Is that because they're so well drilled into that set, or is that a team discipline thing?
It's a little bit of both, JB. I think they always emphasise that extra pass or that extra look. So I certainly think it's a little bit of both. And just quickly come back to Lockie McCarthy. I think Lockie McCarthy's trying to make a statement to Nate Burden saying you should have picked me in that state side.
Absolutely.
Because he's named as a reserve on the list. And he's really proven his point here today.
I'll tell you what, Boydo wants a gig in that stateside. Maybe not.
No.
He's winding back the clock, but he can't wind back the hands of Father Time. It's French now with the ball. He passes over to Phoenix Roby. And that one is out of bounds. Substitution as Brewer comes in and Phoenix Roby heads out. Meanwhile, that is Callum Boucher. And as you mentioned, boys, that energy on that bench, they are down, but
they're very flat.
Yeah, very flat. I mean, I think they need a big dunk here or a big three-pointer to just try and get things up and about. Here's the man to start it. Nope, not a soul rising off the bench there of the state team.
And the biggest thing with this state team, they need to learn to have that energy. They're going to be their sixth man on their bench.
Oh, Stanwick's hop step.
So really, in a sense, they got to hark up here and make some noise this lot.
See,
there we go.
There's a little bit more. And I mean, this is a team that's only down 4 points.
Well, that's right. And I mean, you've got to be energised on every play, and they'll need to do that when they're at Nationals as well too, because, you're going to be together for the next couple of weeks, and you've got to, cheer each other on.
So we'll see how they go here. They need a three-pointer. There it is.
A bit flat.
Bench starting to rise a little bit more, but yeah, as you mentioned there, you just need to get that that energy up and about. Halfway through the third quarter here, Glenn, if you are the Spartans, what are you wanting to do? Are you still trying to work your way through McCarthy, who's just had a quiet 90 seconds here, or are you...
I was just saying what quarter, how long...
Third quarter, halfway through the third. What are you wanting to do if you're Brennan Stanwicks here, Glenn?
Yeah, it's just getting a bit tight. I don't know if Glenorchy's starting to tire. I'm not sure what it is, but Tassie is certainly looking at going to that baseline play again, as there probably could have been a foul on young Luke Brown, but,
and you can hear Nate Brereton asking for them to pressure the ball, managed to dribble themselves out of trouble, wanted a travel call, and Brennan Stanwicks is barking instructions to anyone who will listen. There's Brewer. And that is now a 2-point game.
Timeout?
He wanted a timeout. Yeah, very unhappy.
Yeah, just allowing this Tassie team to get back into it. I mean, they were up by 10.
Yeah.
At the start of this quarter, and now all of a sudden we're at a 2-point ball game. So really, Bulls just got to make some adjustments here on the fly. But for the state team, it's all about that energy. It's all about their bench being up and about as well too. I mean, you've got to get through these tough periods with that extra voice and energy. And if you don't do that and we're still flat as a group, something tells me I'm surprised that they're down by 2 at the moment, where really they could be down by 10.
Yeah, they're lucky that the 5 that they've got on the moment have just had a bit of a run. But you're right. When you go away to nationals, you've got to have your bench. Like, there's not many supporters go across. So,
that's right.
If no one else is cheering for you, at least your teammates do. So, and it helps. And one thing I've probably noticed a bit, and I was talking to the Wolves boys today when we were there, is that there's no talking. There's not much talk in defence. It's really like yelling, screaming. I know we had to do what we were told, and it made such a difference, and it puts the opposition off. When they've got the ball, so that intensity, I'd like to see Tasmania, at least if they're not doing it now, over the next month or so, really work on that defensive intensity, and give each other a high five, and give someone a pat on the back if they do something wrong. Keep the positives up, but and it's just a matter of they need that teamwork, that camaraderie before, because every other state's going to have it.
Oh, absolutely.
Maddie Smith has just passed that one off the ring.
But I think what happens here, this is when Glenorchy gets tired, and they got tired yesterday, and I know the Wolves, we got tired a bit for only 3 or 4 minutes, but that's what turned the game around.
I just wonder, Glenn and Ronnie, whether the state team's actually waiting, and there's that 1% shot. Brewer, 3, no good. Hustling for the rebounds. That one's out off Maddie Smith. I just wonder whether the state team's waiting for that period where Glenorchy get tired.
Yeah. But they can't afford to, because the thing is, they're going to play against kids their own age that are, they've got superstars in their team and
aren't going to get tired.
No.
As Brown makes that one, that's a tie ball game.
And I've just noticed in this last, 5 minutes that the Tasmanian team is utilising that backdoor cut play that they've been scoring so freely from over the weekend. So
Grenadiers ball. Sorry, no, I'm looking at a Grenadiers player. It's a Spartans ball. Jeez, what is wrong with me? Someone sack me. 44 can't sack good Volunteers. 44 all. Inside 3 minutes. Stanwick's heavily contested. Hit the glass.
That's a hook. Stanwick's.
No, again. So that's 3 opportunities there for the Spartans. Couldn't capitalise on. The BTAS team down the floor. Back door.
Really
no contact. Brewer wanted it. Brown wanted it. Over the back there. They'll call the contact and we'll go the other way.
We haven't seen much of Maynard in the game as much as probably what I thought. I think over the weekend he's
the Energizer Bunny.
He is, but he doesn't see. I don't know if he's in foul trouble. I don't believe he is, but
both he and Haywood have been big
minutes, which is a bit surprising. But they've got a good 5 on at the moment that are doing well, and they're 44 all. So
see how we go on the drive. Up there, Boydo.
Beautiful pass from.
I'm loving this resurgence. Could this be
Hills.
Could this be the last hurrah for Boydo? Yeah. French. French is...
So he missed that, but the good thing about that, 3 of the guys from the Tassie team stood up when he shot it. So that's exactly what we were talking about.
They need to keep dragging that energy. And again, I do feel that the Spartans are starting to slow down, but then again, they're still showing enough energy, Ronnie, where, there's still light in the end of that tunnel for them.
There is.
Nice good pass.
Again.
Good, very good. Allowed the defence.
And that's a good thing. Whether Stanwicks is scoring or not, he still brings others into the game, and he looks like he's got a bit of energy now. So
Haywood, he wanted that. Haywood by name, Haywood by nature. French, he's not going to try another one again, I don't think. But that's good.
No.
Yeah, Bourne just couldn't get that one to go. So Tassie will have another chance to really get something here. I don't mind what they've been trying to execute the last couple of possessions. I just think they need to clean that up a bit better, be more polished.
And Haywood, I think, could probably...
that's going to be on their hands. He's pulled that one.
Lucky on that one, I think.
I reckon there's a bit of brotherly love in that call. What did we say? 50-50. I better look after my brother just once.
I don't know.
We'll let that one out.
I think we might just we'll leave that one alone.
Completely stirring. That was a foul.
Haywood knocks down the triple.
Now, I'd like to see Haywood jack up a few more threes each game. He's very consistent.
He's an energizer player.
And especially when, he hits the shots in pressure time. It's not just he hits them when they're 20 up. He hits them when there's a point or two in it. So.
And he has done that before. We've seen, like myself and JB, have seen that throughout over the last year or so. So Haywood can provide that spark. But, I'm just trying to work out what's his role in this team, With all these guys that are in this team and with some different shooters, where does he fit?
I think he's closer to that shooting stretch ball, Ronnie. I don't think there's that inside presence as McCarthy goes hard to the rim. But I think that's definitely his role. And, it's a similar role that he kind of plays. He's more of a larger two-guard for Penguin. But, in this side here, you've only got to look at the way his height's playing there.
Yes,
if they want to run a small ball lineup, I think you put him in at the 3 or the 4 purely for his shooting.
Yeah, I agree with that, JB, and I think, I'm sure within this Tassie team, one of these guys will take that step up and, give me the ball and let me, bring this team home.
And that was a great call by Brown on Brown then. Just wanted to put that in, just so it's consistent at both ends.
Still have to...
Okay,
Told you we were getting... Oh.
Meanwhile, Bourne for 3.
Well, I don't know if that was the best option.
And French just didn't realise the time
Again,
there.
I'm not sure if he's sort of a 4-man, although he's not that tall. Number 2, what's his name?
Marley Bourne.
Yeah, and, in that play...
Not the cricket club.
I'd want to run the... why not go to the shooters that have been hitting the big shots, so...
3/4 time, 50-47. We'll see how we go in the last here. It's going to be a tight finish, third versus fourth. Final quarter underway here, third versus fourth. The Spartans leading 50-47. BTAS with a strong third quarter there in spurts.
Nice backdoor play.
Enough to get it done, and that is a tip away by Brown. Boydo winding back the clock. Cooper Hill's wanting to get a shot. He can't. Matty Smith doesn't take it either. McCarthy, he's trying to prove why he shouldn't be a reserve on the state team and why he should be the man. Goes inside, splits the defender, left hand off the glass, no good.
Good move.
And we'll see what the state team can come away with here in the last, again, 50-47. State team going away to Nationals in around a month's time. Meanwhile, the Spartans are getting ready for senior competition. And some boys getting ready for NBL 1 as Matty Smith gets a hand on that loose ball. Taken away as McCarthy launches himself on a high layup there and takes that one back to 5. Glenn, we've seen McCarthy really come along over the weekend. He's really fitted into this senior team. And do we think that is going to affect the Spartans here in the fourth quarter when they certainly have a reliance on a Stanwicks, or do you feel they can still stick with McCarthy to get it done?
Yeah, I think they'll try and get it to the young fella who's McCarthy. He just keeps on running and running. But I think they're just lucky they got Stanwicks there. That doesn't matter whether he misses 3 shots in a row or 4. He can hit the next 6 in a row as well. So I like the
Roby.
The pressure that Glenorchy are still, the intensity that Glenorchy is still playing with, although they got a couple of old tired guys. Jack Stanwicks, although he's not old, he hasn't had a sub all weekend and he looks pretty tired, as does Boyd Heather.
For the state team, Ronnie, what are we going to be looking to get out of... Hang on, there's a foul call there. There we go. I missed that one. Yeah. Thought it was out of bounds. Ronnie, what are we going to look out of the state team here? Obviously, they've been struggling to provide energy off the bench. Their body language showing a fair bit of disinterest in this particular game. But they showed enough in that third quarter to show that they can still compete. Stanwicks inside off the glass. Good finish there. And that's going to be the little things like that they're going to need to address.
Yeah, so defensively, they've just got to tighten up, allowing that penetration inside and offensively, I think Nate would be happy with the looks. I think that the shots that's got to drop down, and then the last thing, I'd be energising energy to this group. It's like I would be saying to those fellas, we're really flat at the moment. We've got to lift our energy in order to, to get into this game.
Good
and
finish.
In a few of the
down
other
low.
games,
Brereton's had enough.
Actually was quite involved in the offensive end and was putting up good numbers. In this game, he hasn't really had that many shots.
No, hasn't touched it at
Not
all.
sure if it's planned or just defensive, they've scouted a bit, and Brendan Stanwicks said, "Hey, slow this kid down."
Nate Brereton's had enough, though. I can tell you that much. It's 47-56. That's a 9-point margin. Started out as 3 at the quarter. Too many baskets, not enough conversion for themselves. And BTAS talking this one over, and that could be a very interesting call, boys, considering you're only allowed 1 timeout per quarter, and Nate's used that with 3 quarters of the quarter remaining.
Yeah, Tim, what I find is that once the Tasmanian team doesn't have that backdoor move that they score from so often, then they're so limited. So, yeah, and Glenorchy have done a pretty good job at stopping that compared to yesterday. I don't know how many points they got from backdoor, JB, but it wasn't pretty, was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't pretty.
It was pretty to watch from their perspective.
It was absolutely, but from a defensive structure, it wasn't good. And obviously, Glenorchy have scouted that. I mean, they're just taking away their opportunities, and I mean, coming out with a different energy themselves, despite having what you would describe as a less fit bench. Even though they ran with 6 on the bench yesterday, it is certainly a less fit bench, knowing that Ruben Carlson is not there. Ronnie, what would Durham have been talking about in that time out there? I mean, 47-56, you've let that blow out to a 9-point game. You've been trying to get energy off your bench, and that's all but gone now. I mean, what are you wanting to see out of your players here?
So offensively, we're looking to probably execute some different sets now and try to be a bit more proactive on that forefront. I think Nate wouldn't be happy with the last couple of defensive possessions as well too. So I think he would have been addressing that in the huddle there in that timeout as Boucher gets to 2. So, you know, and of course, Nate probably wasn't happy. He stood up there in that first part of the timeout and, you know, probably, you know, gave a quick spray to his boys, which hopefully might kick him into gear.
And it looks like it has a bit. That's a beautiful pass.
And there's the Spartans.
McCarthy.
Spartans playing the backdoor play themselves.
I really like it when the Tasmanian team gets the ball into Callum Boucher. He's very efficient. And, you know, when they take the ball inside, they look good.
Haywood kicks out. Savage. Bit randy on that one, couldn't get it done. No one hustling for the ball though.
No one did there, JB. Haywood got an easy one.
BTAS communicate there. There's Maynard on the drive.
I can tell you.
Tries to get there's Callum Boucher with an undone shoelace, either that or it's a really long shoelace. Looks undone from this area here on the right foot. That's a good second chance opportunity there from Haywood. So 58-51. We've got 6 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. The winner of this finishing 3rd in the tournament. Obviously the loser finishing in 4th. That's a pass from Boydo that has miraculously played off. Cooper Hills with the strength. Stanwicks, 4-3, no good.
Cooper Hill's showing that, you know, he's been working hard in the gym and paying off there, just grabbing that one nicely from Lockie Maynard, who was in that play.
Drive there by Kai Savage, floater no good.
Boyd Heather has done a fantastic job on the boards as well. Sorry, JB, although he just passed it to the opposition then.
Massive foul. And he's just checked Maynard on the way through and said, how you doing? Gives him a pat on the backside. And I thought was going to try and hold him up there as Matty Smith on the lead. He's ahead of the pack. And he's just slowing down as Stanwicks wants to get inside. He's on Phoenix Roby. Phoenix tried to use that length. Boyd tried to get over the old phone book, and I reckon that's the last time we'll see him do that today. 58-51 as Savage goes baseline again. Contested and good finish.
And that's good work by young Kai Savage, who's more renowned for his 3-point shooting. That can get to the rim as Coach Stanwicks wants to call a timeout.
And that's both coaches using their timeouts.
I don't think the timeout from Stanwicks is to do with strategy stuff. I think it's to do with fitness and just giving his boys a break.
Well, it certainly can't be very tactful from either coach who has burnt a time out. And if this game gets late, they're not going to have anything to use, considering they only get 1 a quarter.
I think they're just pretty knackered, and they're all puffing pretty hard, especially Boyd Heather and Jack Stanwicks and Matthew Smith. So, but it's been really good to see Cooper Hills and young Lockie McCarthy put in good efforts against, you know, the state, you know, the other kids in the state that are similar ages. So, you know, these guys have got a good future ahead of them. I really like the way McCarthy plays. I like the way that the older Glenorchy boys are really feeding him, because he's the one that's, you know, had a reasonably hot hand in this game. So he's made good choices. No, he doesn't really turn it over either. So maybe one. I've probably got 1 turnover.
Yeah,
that's about it. That's all I've seen. So, and I really like the way that Brendan Stanwicks develops the younger players as he's bringing them through.
And the other thing too, Glenn, you know, you're lucky enough to watch one of their training sessions, you know, around Kev's 80th celebration that they had. And what Bull does with this group, or this big group that they have, it was a large group of lads training at the session I was at, but you could see good energy. You guys like Manny Smith, you know, Bordeaux and that, just really, you know, helping these young ones, revving them up, and you know, it's really good to see, and it pays off. Well, we spoke too soon.
Well, I still think, though, that is...
He needed a bounce then, didn't he, JB?
Well, not only that, but I think that's an absolute indictment on the effort that's been put forward at times here, not to be too rough on the Tassie team, but that energy and not paying attention. And I mean, even though it's a bronze medal game, you do have to ask, as Boydo gets away with one there, a bit of contact on the follow-through.
Because that there, there's a fair.
I would have to.
That play there, Matthew Smith missed that layup. That's a dunk from another team.
Absolutely, and the fact that if this was a bronze medal game at national championships, would that be acceptable?
No.
No,
certainly not.
That's taboo. Like,
regardless.
This one yesterday, earlier, Ronnie, where the Tasmanian team
they didn't line up
in a huddle at a
that was today.
That was today.
That was today.
The Tassie team were actually in a huddle when Sam Newell was shooting a three throw for Grenadiers.
Yep, it was the and one opportunity.
Did you see that?
No, I wasn't here.
Matty Young was just standing in the lane. He was trying to miss it so Young could just get an open as Haywood, and the crowd goes silent. It's now a 5-point ball game. The crowd goes silent. So the energy out of this BTAS team, particularly on the Sunday, their attention just hasn't been there. And they're going to want to lift here in the last 3 and a bit minutes. Don't want to be too
either, are they?
Don't want to be too rough of them at the moment. But I mean, this is a Glenorchy side that I certainly wouldn't have picked to have been this far in. Boydo, no good.
Oh.
Rebound by Savage, who had some nice hops on that one there.
He's got a bit of a jump, that young lad, JB, so expect him to really develop with his height as well too over the coming couple of years to come.
Backdoor again, look at that.
Yeah, they're wanting it as they save that ball there. Haywood hits the deck, elbows and knees everywhere. Boucher, Savage, 3. No good. And McCarthy again out to prove a point.
Okay.
So now this is a 5-on-1 situation defensively here for the state team, so they should be set and ready to go.
Baseline 1-on-1 for Sandwich's.
Good defence there, but second chance opportunities. And with 3 minutes to go, and just the way that the under-18 team is playing here, I think the Spartans may potentially have this in the bag.
Possibly so, JB.
Don't really want to go the early crow, but I mean, the nest's there to be sat in.
Yeah, but
good hustle, that's a foul.
I just want to be interested to see how this state team now just fights back here, and see if there's a good learning opportunity from this as well too. Again, we don't want to be too harsh on these kids because they're only kids and
absolutely
they're still learning. So just for their growth and their maturity, I'd really love to see how they battle this last 2:44 in what is now a 6-point game, could turn into 5 points here as we get into crunch time.
Yeah, and they've really got they've just made the substitutions that the coach thinks will help them, but they've got to have set plays now, like 5 points, 2.5 minutes. They want to get it down. They've got to get two stops, and then get a good offensive run and no silly shots.
As Boydo, that is a long two.
I know the young fellow Brewer's upset with himself then, but you've got to get a hand on the shooters.
And I think that's the other thing too, Glenn. And Ronnie, we've talked about this all day. It's the mini, as Boydo, oh no, look to McCarthy who slows down, but it's the mini victories. It's getting the stop. Okay, we've won that possession now. If we score, that's back-to-back wins on a possession. Dump down McCarthy, saves that down, out to Matty Smith. Another basket here will all but do it, you would have to assume. State team struggling to get over that hump. Stanwicks from Glenorchy. Missed that one. And that's a rebound by French. So a minor win here for the state team. What can they get out of it? As Bourne gives to French, gives to Haywood. There's some energy. And the team up a little bit there. We need a little bit more out of them, though. It's only a 4-point game. They're still in this.
He's definitely the go-to man. You just want to run as many plays for him to get open, young Haywood, because he's certainly a clutch shooter.
McCarthy wanted to make them pay there. Doesn't. Cooper Hills just dribbles that out. They rushed that a little bit there. They cost themselves on a clock reset, really. They had plenty of time before that shot and essentially going 2 for 1 on what was really just a full shot clock in general. Stanwicks inside, fouled, and no score.
Oh, it occurred on the floor. I think the foul did happen on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't think you could count that one.
But this day and age, you see so many continuations. But,
yes.
Stanwicks didn't. He knew anyway. He put it up because he thought, I'll try and get a bonus, but he wasn't expecting it because he knew where the foul was. But, so it was a good call by the referee.
Wanted the alley-oop play. No call. So that's a mini win. So it's only a 4-point margin. The state team really can still look at getting a game here as Brewer gets inside. It's a one-possession ball game.
Now they've got to get up here and pressure, JB.
That'd be the full court trap here.
Yeah, you've got to communicate here. And, now you want to double that.
Yeah.
We're inside of a minute. Cooper Hills, Boyd Heather. Let's see what the Spartans can do. A miss here, and the state team can tie it up. A basket, and they're now 2 possessions behind. So Stanwic's got screens to work with. Gives to Maddie Smith. Cooper Hills, 3 seconds, needs to get it up. Smith for the game.
Oh! Just winding back the clock, good old Maddie Smith.
I did call it. So they're now 3. It's essentially a 2-possession game. Brown.
Oh,
well,
yes,
there we go.
sir.
Might have called that one a little early. 2-point game. Get it in the hands of your best free throw shooter. Outlet. Beautiful.
Beautiful pass there from Stanwick.
Can't call a timeout.
I don't think Nate...
There's no timeouts left.
Tech
1
foul.
a quarter.
Tech
Yeah.
foul.
It has to be.
Tech foul.
It has to be. You can't call a timeout without it, so that has to be a tech foul, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, unless he decides...
Can't. The bench warned him. If he's put the hand up, called for it, that has to be a technical, surely.
Not that Stanwick's worried, it's a pre-season tournament, but any other day and age, it would have been a
Clock.
check.
I would have thought
Just had
that.
to wait till the ball got touched.
I would have thought, regardless, that he's waved to the bench to call a technical that's not there. It wasn't waved off by him. It was indeed waved on. Anyway, goes for the 3, makes it.
They didn't need a timeout.
So you're. See, now here's the other question though. Slow down.
Cooper Hills goes into and it counts.
Will count.
That's a massive gamble taken there, Glenn, and all of a sudden Cooper Hills finds himself into this game.
Well, mass confusion. One would have to.
I think he's pretty happy with the with that going in there.
I'm gonna let someone. Yeah, you can hold this.
Okay, free throw is in for Cooper Hills. Last play, you would think, as French getting good pressure by McCarthy. Now Brewer, in term Haywood. Haywood goes exploring, puts it up and gets it to go. We're back to a 2-point ball game, 4.1 remaining. NFL type pass to Stanwicks. Good fake, and that is the game right there. So that will all she wrote, but a good last couple of minutes here as French wanted a foul. He wasn't getting that one. But in the end, it was the state team getting up by 4. 75-71. And Glenn, that was a good last couple of minutes there. We might talk about the timeout situation rule there in a second, but just quickly some thoughts before we wrap up.
I just think Glenorchy, obviously their legs were a bit better in that game than what they were in the other ones, and they were able to slow the Tasmanian team down, whereas yesterday they couldn't at all. So Tassie's got to just work on, they put a lot of pressure on the last couple of minutes. As JB said, and I throughout, why don't they just put that pressure on from day dot, like from the start of the game? But there's a lot that Tasmania team will learn from it, and I thought it was a great win by Glenorchy. I think, the young guys played really well. McCarthy had an awesome game, and Cooper Hills comes strong at the end and pretty consistent. Boyd Heather, they all played well actually. So it was a good finish to Glenorchy to come away with third position, and Tassie will be able to take some of it from that.
All right, that will do us here for this one. We've got our grand final coming up next, but on behalf of Justin Bryan and Glenn Fairfield, I'm Ronald Riggs. We'll see you again soon.